So we will first see how we can perform basic CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete. So we already have the class which has ID and name. It is an entity class and it is serializable. So we will be using an object of user. Let's say users u is equal to new user. And then let us set ID is equal to 6 and name is equal to user 6. Now, once we've created this object, if we want to save this object, so as of now, we have just created the object in this main method. But if we want to persist this object, if this object should be inserted in the table in the database, then you will have to save this object in the session. So we use s dot save and here we pass q. So the session will save this object u, and because it is saving an entity object, it is going to basically insert and row in the table. So when we run this code, so here we see an exception. Okay, so it says that there is a mapping exception and this entity hpcrud.user is unknown. Since we have not mapped it, so as we have seen in the Hibernate architecture, we have to provide the database connection details and the mapping details. So we have provided the database connection details here, but we have not provided the mapping details. So for the mapping details, we have to add a line here, which is the mapping tag. So mapping class hpcrud.users. So now here, as you can see, Hibernate has first executed the query drop table users, and then it is executing the query create table users where ID is an integer which is not null and primary key is ID because we had annotated it with the ID annotation, and name which is varchar. And then it is also inserting values into our table. So here, as you can see, it is using a prepared statement and the query is insert into users name comma ID with the values and then print done. So we can go to the backend and check here. So as you can see here, a users table has been created with ID and name. And if we view the data of this table, then here we can see that a row has been inserted in the user table with the ID 6 and name as user 6. So as you can see here, since we had not provided names for the tables or the columns explicitly, Hibernate has used the class name to be the table name and ID and name, which is the attribute name. So they have been used in place of the column name. To specify the table name, we can use the table annotation. And here we have to specify name. So let's call it user underscore table. And for the column names, we can specify it using the column annotation. Column name is equal to, let's call this UID. Similarly, we can say column name. Let's say this is user name. Now if we run our code, the same code that we had used for creating this, so let's just change the values. So now, as you can see here from the query itself, it is creating a table, user table with UID and username as the column names, and it is also inserting values into it. So we can see that from the backend, user table has been created with data key and user key as the name. Now, before we perform read, update, and delete operations on our table, we will insert multiple rows here. So using a loop, we'll create a new user and we will set the ID to I and the username to user I. So we have inserted these many rows. So the table has been created first and then these many rows have been inserted. The table is being created here because we have set the property, the auto property to create. That is why the existing table is dropped first using the drop table command and then it is created again. And then these are the rows that have been inserted. Now what we will do is we will comment this out and in the configuration file, we will set the auto property to update so that we will be working with the same data which is in our table right now. So when we fetch the data, from user table, so this is the data that we have in our table from user ID 4 to user ID 9. To perform read operation, so when we want to select some data from our table, usually we use a select query, but here we will be working with methods of session. So like we have used save method of session to store data, that is to insert data into our table. Similarly, we have get method, so session.get, and this in the get method, the first argument that we pass is going to be the type. So we are going to pass the user defined type, which is the class. So users dot class. So this users dot class will be automatically mapped to the user table that we have in our database. And to fetch a record from that table, we need a unique identifier so that the row can be identified and the object can be fetched. So for that, we will be passing this second argument, which is the ID of that row. So the primary key value of that row. So let us say we want to fetch the user whose ID is 6. So we'll write users.class, comma 6. So this method will return an object of user in return, which we can store in a reference view. And then we can print it, so we can print u dot get ID. So this is the data that we will be fetching from our table. So now if you see in this code, we are not creating anything. We have commented this code. We are only getting the ID 6 from the table. When we run this, so it is first showing us the query that it has fired. So it has fired a select query. This select query has been fired on the user table where the user UID is question mark, which means the value that we have passed to. So it is fetching 6 and user 6 for us and displaying it in the console. So this is how we can fetch data. So without writing the select query, we have been able to fetch data from our user table. Next, if we want to update data, in case of updation, we will simply the object that we have, the object that we get from the table, like if fetch the object u. Now, if we want to modify the data of this object, we can say u dot set name. So let us set this to new name object, and after we give it a new name, so we have changed the name of the object u. We can then call the update method, so session dot update u. So this will update the value in the table. So when we run this code, so here you can see first the select query has been fired, and then we have displayed the content that we have fetched from the table, and then an update query is being fired here, which is update user table set username is equal to question mark, which is the value that we have passed, which is new name 6, where UID is equal to question mark, which means the UID of this object u, which is 6. So the query has been executed and we can see the output from the backend. So here, as you can see, the name of user ID 6 has been changed to new name 6. Now to delete some row from the table, we will first fetch that row or fetch that object from the table in the same code. So let's say we are fetching user ID 7, and to delete this, we will use the delete method of session is dot delete u1. So when we run this code, so here you will see that the select query has been fired and the data has been fetched from the table, which is 6 and new name. And after this, the update query has not been fired. So the update query has not been fired because Hibernate will not simply blindly execute queries because we have called the update method. Since it checks that the name has not been changed, so there is no need of firing an update query unnecessarily. So that is why Hibernate did not fire the update query. After that, we have selected user ID 7. So this is the select query for user ID 7. And then we have called the delete method of session. That is why the delete query has been fired. And here the UID which was passed is 7. So we can check this from our table. Let me set new data of the user table. So here we will be able to see that user ID 7 has been deleted now.